Dennis Johnson died the most tragic death at just 52 years old. On February 22, 2007, the basketball world was shocked when Johnson collapsed after a practice session with the Austin Toros in the Austin Convention Center. One minute he was playing one-on-one with forward Jamar Smith, and the next he was gone. His heart simply stopped working. The official cause? Cardiac arrest. But there's more to this story than what made the headlines. There always is when a sports hero dies suddenly and people start sanitizing their legacy. Dennis Johnson wasn't just any basketball player. He was a three-time NBA champion. He won his first title with the Seattle Supersonics in 1979 and added two more with the Boston Celtics in 1984 and 1986. He was the Finals MVP in 1979. He was a five-time All-Star. He was named to the All-NBA First Team in 1981. He was selected for the All-Defensive First Team 6 times and Second Team 3 more times. And in 2010, 3 years after his death, he was finally inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. But behind the championships and the accolades, Dennis Johnson's life was filled with controversy and hidden truths that many people tried to hide or ignore. His story has rough edges that were smoothed over after his death. The basketball world preferred to remember only the good parts. Today we're going to look at the man behind the legend and the stories that some people would rather you didn't know, because Dennis Johnson deserves the truth. The whole truth, not just the parts that make us feel good. Dennis Johnson's story starts far from fame and glory. Born in Compton, California on September 18, 1954, Johnson stood just 5 feet 9 inches in high school and barely played basketball. He got a minute or two each game at Dominguez High School, sitting on the bench while others got the spotlight. Nobody looked at young Dennis Johnson and saw an NBA champion. After graduation, Johnson didn't go straight to college basketball like today's stars. He worked odd jobs to make ends meet, including a stint as a forklift driver, making just $2.75 an hour. Basketball wasn't his ticket out yet. He was just another young man trying to survive. But something changed for Johnson. He grew taller. He worked harder. His break came at Los Angeles Harbor College, where his skills blossomed between 1973 and 1975. He led his team to a state junior college title, averaging 18.3 points and 12 rebounds per game. People started to notice him. This led to a single season at Pepperdine University. In that 1 year, Johnson helped the Waves to a 22-6 record and an NCAA tournament appearance. His former coach at Pepperdine, Gary Colson, called Johnson's journey a true Cinderella story given his large family and lack of high school playing time. After just one college season, Johnson was picked 29th overall in the second round of the 1976 NBA draft by the Seattle Supersonics. The 28 teams that passed on him would soon regret it. Nobody expected much from him, but Johnson quickly proved everyone wrong. In Seattle, Johnson transformed into a defensive monster with quick hands and sure feet. He could steal the ball and start fast breaks. He could shut down the best players on the other team. By his third season, he helped lead the Supersonics to their only NBA championship in 1979. His 32-point performance in Game 4 of the Finals showed he wasn't just a defender. He could score when his team needed it most. He was named Finals MVP for his efforts and made his first All-Star team that same year. But success didn't come without problems. Johnson clashed with his coach, Lenny Wilkins. Even though they had just won a championship together, the relationship soured. In 1980, Johnson was traded to the Phoenix Suns. In Phoenix, Johnson continued to excel, making the All-Star team 3 more times in 1980, 1981, and 1982. He earned all NBA first-team honors in 1981 and second team in 1980. His defense remained elite, earning him all defensive first-team selections every year from 1979 through 1983. Yet again, though, his strong personality led to conflicts with coach John McLeod. Johnson wasn't easy to coach. He had strong opinions and wasn't afraid to voice them. This pattern of clashing with authority followed him throughout his career. Then came 1983, and a trade that would define the rest of Johnson's career. He joined the Boston Celtics and formed an iconic partnership with Larry Bird. The two players connected on a level few teammates ever do. Bird once called Johnson the best I've ever played with, high praise from one of basketball's greatest players. Together, they won 2 more championships in 1984 and 1986. Johnson earned his fifth and final All-Star selection in 1985 with Boston. He continued his defensive dominance, making the all-defensive second team from 1984 to 1986 and first team again in 1987. He wasn't just surviving in Boston, he was thriving. But while Johnson was cementing his legacy on the court, trouble was brewing off it. In 1987, a major scandal rocked the Phoenix Suns. Johnson's former teammate, Johnny High, testified before a grand jury that he had used cocaine with Johnson and other players. The Mesa Tribune published these allegations from secret court documents, putting Johnson's reputation in serious jeopardy. The NBA in the 1980s had a serious drug problem. Players were using cocaine. Some were getting caught, some were getting help. Some were getting suspended. The league was trying to clean up its image, and any drug allegations were taken very seriously. Johnson strongly denied these claims, saying, "I am not using no drugs." Other players mentioned in the testimony, like Milwaukee Bucks players Jack Sikma and Paul Mokeski, also denied the accusations. While several current and former Suns players were indicted on drug charges, Johnson was never charged with anything. But this cloud hung over him. Many fans wondered if Johnson was really innocent or just lucky to avoid charges. The allegations were serious, and even though no legal action was taken against him, people talked. People always talk. Speaking of sports and getting the full picture, this is why I love Fubo. If you want to catch all the NBA action without missing a single game or story, Fubo gives you access to more sports channels than any other streaming service. Whether it's basketball, football, or baseball, Fubo lets you watch all the games and get the complete story that other networks might miss. No more partial coverage or missing out on your favorite teams. Use code HOOPS for a free 7-day trial and see the difference for yourself. Now back to Dennis Johnson's story. After 14 seasons in the NBA, Johnson retired following the 1989-90 season. By then, he had amassed impressive career totals. He ranked as the 11th player in NBA history to record at least 15,000 points and 5,000 assists. The Boston Celtics recognized his contributions by retiring his number 3 jersey, which now hangs in the rafters of TD Garden alongside other Celtic legends. But Johnson wasn't done with basketball. He turned to coaching. He was an assistant with his beloved Celtics from 1993 to 1997, then worked with the Lacrosse Bobcats of the CBA from 1999 to 2000, and the Los Angeles Clippers from 2000 to 2003. He even served as interim head coach for the Clippers in 2003, going 8-16. After a stint as head coach of the Florida Flame from 2004 to 2005, his final job brought him to the Austin Toros of the NBA Development League, where he was head coach from 2005 until his death in 2007. The team was on a strong 14-5 run when Johnson passed away. He was still making an impact in basketball, still teaching younger players, still living the game he loved. The news of Dennis Johnson's sudden death shocked the basketball community. Players, coaches, and fans mourned the loss of a true competitor. But what's troubling is how quickly many media outlets rushed to sanitize his story and gloss over the controversies. Despite the drug allegations that followed him from the Phoenix scandal, most obituaries barely mentioned this chapter of his life. They painted a picture of a perfect basketball hero without the messy human details. The rough edges were smoothed away, leaving only the shiny surface. The basketball world seemed eager to forget the negatives. NBA Commissioner David Stern released a statement praising Johnson's extraordinary character, while former teammates like Danny Ainge called him one of the most underrated players in the history of the game. Larry Bird, his famous teammate, described Johnson as a great player, one of the best teammates I ever had, and a wonderful person. These weren't empty words. Bird truly respected Johnson. Their on-court chemistry was legendary, creating moments that basketball fans still talk about today. Their most famous play came in the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals against the Detroit Pistons. With seconds remaining in Game 5, Bird stole an inbound pass and immediately fed it to Johnson, who drove in for the game-winning layup. Johnson later called this his favorite play of all time. It was basketball perfection, two great minds thinking as one. These tributes weren't wrong about Johnson's basketball greatness. He truly was one of the most versatile and tenacious players of his era. The statistics back this up. By the end of his career, he had played in 1,100 regular season games and 180 playoff games. His playoff numbers were even more impressive than his regular season stats. He averaged 17.3 points per game in the postseason compared to 14.1 in the regular season. Johnson showed up when it mattered most. He wasn't afraid of pressure. He wanted the ball in big moments. Magic Johnson, no relation but a fierce rival, even called Dennis the best backcourt defender of all time. Coming from Magic, one of the greatest point guards ever, this was the highest praise possible. From a high school benchwarmer to an NBA champion, from a forklift driver to a Finals MVP, from a player dogged by controversy to a Hall of Famer. Johnson's journey shows that greatness isn't about being flawless. It's about perseverance through challenges. But we do Johnson's memory a disservice when we pretend he was perfect. His story is powerful precisely because he overcame obstacles and personal demons. He wasn't born great. He wasn't handed anything. He fought for every bit of success he achieved. Johnson was known for his intensity on the court. He didn't back down from challenges. He guarded the best players on the other team and took pride in shutting them down. He wasn't flashy like Magic Johnson or deadly from outside like Larry Bird, but he was essential to winning basketball games. His defensive stats don't tell the whole story. Johnson averaged 1.3 steals per game in the regular season and 1.2 in the playoffs. But those numbers don't capture how he disrupted offenses. He made players uncomfortable. He got in their heads. He knew their tendencies and exploited their weaknesses. Johnson's field goal percentage of 44.6% in the regular season and 45.0% in the playoffs shows he was an efficient scorer, not just a defensive specialist. He could score when his team needed him to. He could create for others, averaging 5.0 assists per game in the regular season. His death at 52 was tragic and too soon. The basketball world lost a fierce competitor and brilliant mind. His funeral was attended by basketball legends and ordinary fans alike, all coming to pay their respects to a man who gave everything to the game. His posthumous induction into the Hall of Fame in 2010 finally gave him the recognition many felt he deserved years earlier. It was a bittersweet moment, celebrating his career while mourning that he wasn't there to see it himself. Dennis Johnson may have been called underrated throughout his career and even after his death, but those who played with him and against him knew the truth. He was simply one of the best to ever play the game. Not the most talented, not the most athletic, but one of the smartest, toughest competitors the NBA has ever seen. The tragedy isn't just that Johnson died young. The tragedy is that we didn't appreciate him enough while he was alive. We didn't tell the whole story then, and many tried to hide parts of it after he was gone. But the truth matters. The full truth, the good and the bad together, because that's what makes Johnson's story so powerful. He wasn't perfect. He had flaws. He made mistakes, but he was great anyway. That's the real inspiration. If you found this look at Dennis Johnson's complicated legacy interesting, hit the like button and subscribe for more videos that tell the full story behind basketball's greatest legends. We don't shy away from the truth here, even when it's messy, because the real stories are always more powerful than the perfect ones.